All right, Bears News Fan Report crew, gather round and let your hearts pound as we stare down the precipice of a new era at Soldier Field. And if you're ready to ride every twist and turn with us, smash that like button and subscribe so your roar echoes louder than the bear down call. Imagine the hum of anticipation rattling through Chicago as a fresh wave of optimism crashes over our loyal faithful. Could this be the game changer the Bears have been waiting for? Could Ryan Poles, after a season of misses, finally be cooking up something big behind the scenes to resurrect a defense that has limped through too many agonizing finishes? Last year, we watched in horror as our secondary bled yards, surrendering over 230 passing yards per game, numbers unworthy of the Navy and burnt orange. We asked why, and when will it stop? But now, with Ben Johnson stepping in as maestro of this rebuilding symphony, whispers are swirling about a seismic defensive shakeup that could rewrite our fortunes. Picture the chessboard, capitalizing on a unit that surrendered 36 points in crucial moments. Poles is rumored to be circling a proven edge rusher, someone whose name you know from countless highlight reels and whose presence alone demands double teams. Could it be that Chicago is quietly preparing to snag the very player who terrorized opposing QBs last season, piling up pressures and dip patches of anxiety in backfields across the league? Think of drive-killing strip sacks, third down stand after third down stand, and the collective exhale of a fan base that spent decades clutching rosary beads on fourth down stops. A weapon like that would slot perfectly into Johnson's aggressive scheme, the same scheme inspired by Belichick's unpredictability, where disguises at the line give way to explosive rush tactics that leave offenses guessing. We've seen this blueprint work before. Remember how the '85 Bears defense rolled into history books as a tsunami of blitzes and bone-crunching hits? That group was anchored by monsters who set the tone. Now, imagine a modern counterpart arriving on the shores of Lake Michigan, someone with the savvy to read protections in real time and the brute force to shatter pocket integrity. It's the missing piece that could transform Johnson's unit from pliable to primal, a catalyst that inspires rookies to raise their game and vets to rediscover their fire. And here's where the plot thickens. The man in question has been linked to trade talks, his name cropping up in heated rumors between industry insiders and local beat writers. For weeks, suggestions have floated that the Bears, armed with cap space and a hunger for relevance, are crafting an offer impossible to refuse. The stakes are sky high if they land this defensive juggernaut before the season opener. It signals they're no longer content to tread water. It screams contender, a declaration that Chicago isn't just rebuilding. It's striking, but there's a twist worthy of the silver screen. Sources say this veteran pass rusher, after a standout campaign that saw him finish top 5 in pressures and force multiple fumbles, is weighing his options, and the Bears could be his dark horse suitor. Can you feel the tension? Imagine the locker room buzz when word breaks. He's coming to Chicago. Visualize our fan base, ignited by the realization that every snap this season could feature a game-changing moment, a relentless chase, a textbook example of defensive brilliance. At this point, you're probably guessing which name fits this bill. Who could be the one to reshape everything at Soldier Field? Someone with a 6-year track record of wrecking game plans, someone whose tape reads like a how-to manual for quarterback disruption. That is, until we finally pull back the curtain and reveal that Chicago's prime target is none other than Trey Hendrickson, the craftsman of chaos whose mere silhouette flashing on the screen sends ripples across the league. But that revelation and what it means for our beloved Bears is a story that demands its own spotlight, a crescendo building to the moment we can't afford to miss. Keep your eyes peeled, because when the next beat drops, you'll want to be front and center for the roar that follows. If you're ready to see our defense rise like a phoenix from the ashes, hit that like button and let's pick up the momentum, because bringing in Trey Hendrickson could be the lightning bolt that jolts Soldier Field back to life. Picture The terror in opposing quarterbacks' eyes as he explodes off the edge, a whirlwind of power and precision that turns every snap into a potential game changer. With 14 sacks and 68 pressures just last season, he's the kind of force that shifts the entire landscape, giving our front seven the green light to unleash chaos. Imagine the collective roar when Hendrickson bashes through a guard, bats the ball into the waiting arms of our linebackers, and you feel every bit of the city's heartbeat sync with ours. This isn't a tweak, it's the spark that could ignite a defensive revolution. And if you're as fired up as I am, let's dive into what this move truly means for the Bears' future. Imagine our defense transformed overnight. A relentless force anchored by a pass rusher whose 2024 campaign produced 14 sacks, 68 pressures, and multiple forced fumbles, each play a dagger through the heart of opposing quarterbacks. With Hendrickson setting the edge, opposing offenses would hesitate at the line, shuffling protection schemes to try and contain a man who has terrorized backfields from Cincinnati to Kansas City. That hesitation is our opportunity, a free lane for Robert Quinn or Montez Sweat to exploit, a chance for Chicago's front seven to roar as one, and a signal that this isn't the same unit you watched yield late-game meltdowns for far too many seasons. Now picture the impact on our identity. For years, the Bears' defense has been a question mark, a patchwork of untested youth and fading veterans. But adding Hendrickson, a 6-year veteran who consistently ranks in the top 10 for quarterback, pressures would send a message. We're done tinkering. We're building a fortress. The mere presence of a playmaker of his caliber shifts the culture in the locker room. Young linebackers like Tremaine Edmonds would learn how to slither through gaps with precision. Rookies would see firsthand what relentless motor looks like. And the entire defensive staff will gain the freedom to dial up exotic blitz schemes, knowing they have an edge rusher who can win one-on-one matchups with power or speed. It's the kind of transformative signing fans traveled to Toyota Park in the '85 playoff run, when Richard Dent's 17-sack season and Super Bowl MVP performance became the stuff of legend. Could this be our modern-day Dent moment? Contrast that to our rivals, and you begin to see the real stakes. The Packers are boasting a dynamic offense built around Aaron Rodgers' precision and Christian Watson's deep threat. Imagine holding that duo in check because your edge rush collapses the pocket before Rodgers can extend the play. Across the city, the Bears once trembled in shootouts, but with Hendrickson, you create a defensive identity so fearsome that opposing coordinators game plan to avoid your side of the line entirely. Those are the battles you show on ESPN highlight reels. A strip sack against Patrick Mahomes, a chase-down tackle on Justin Jefferson, dramatic momentum-shifting plays that leave the crowd gasping and then erupting in a roar that rattles the rafters. Let's not forget the emotional memories etched into our minds. The desperation of that 2016 playoff bid slipping through our fingers, the gut punch of the final drive by Nick Foles on the frozen tundra, the endless off-season promises. That fell flat. Fans hung on every free agent signing, every draft pick hoping for the turnaround. Now, here comes a move so bold it could reverse decades of heartbreak in one stroke. Picture preseason, 4th and 1 against the Lions. Hendrickson bull rushes. The guard bats the ball down, and you feel the collective exhale of a city long starved for defensive dominance. That play galvanizes the team, cements belief in Ben Johnson's system, and sends a tremor through the division. Chicago is back. Of course, every gamble comes with risk. Hendrickson turns 32 this season, and questions about wear and tear on his legs will swirl. Could his motor slow in December winds? Will a mid-season adjustment to our scheme hamper his instincts? These are valid concerns, but contrast that with the alternative riding unproven youth into high-stakes divisional matchups, and the risk seems worth it. Even if his production dips slightly, the mentorship he provides to younger pass rushers could pay dividends for years. When Charles Leno secures a Pro Bowl guard spot because he learned hand-fighting techniques within our rebuilt defensive rhythm, the ripple effect is undeniable. And let's talk numbers. Last season, the Bears finished 21st in sacks with just 32 total. Hendrickson alone accounted for 14 of those from his previous team, a remarkable 44% slice of their pass rush. Pie. If he brings even 12 sacks here, we surge into the top 10, flip the field position battle in our favor, and give our offense the breathing room it desperately needs to find its own rhythm. Justin Fields, electric when not under duress, suddenly has time to drop dimes to DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. That balance transforms this squad from a defensive question mark to a balanced contender. Much like those mid-2000s teams that combined stout D with effective, to shock the playoffs. As the calendar spins toward September, the front office's clock ticks louder than the clack of helmets in the locker room. Will Ryan Poles and his team strike the deal before training camp begins?